Hi guys, it's Mary and this is Stamps-N-Lingers. It is Sunday night, so that means it is time for another video tutorial. I hope that you are able to join and come on, and we're going to make a fun card with the new Country Home stamp set and a few other products from the Country Lane suite. So, welcome to Sunday night. Give me a half a second. I'm going to refresh my screen over here off to the left. And we're gonna go get started. I got home a couple hours ago from our retreat up in the North Georgia mountains, and I cannot begin to tell you how much fun we had. It was just a wonderful weekend. Hi Marianne, hi Nancy, hi Patricia, hi Pat, hi Rebecca, appreciate you joining. Hi Karen, good to see you tonight. Yeah, we had a good time. There were 10 or 11 of us total. Hi Donna, hi Jean. And we sat around and chatted and yacked and got to know each other and did a lot of stamping and project making, and it was really great fun. Hi Karen and Pam, glad you could join. Hello Pat, thank you for joining. Hi Fran. All right, hey Barbara and Donna, good of you to join me this evening. So Amy and I, hi Julie, Amy and I both did a make and take, and Amy chose the Festive Farmhouse suite, and I chose the Country Lane suite. And so this is the card that we did. I spent a few minutes showing them some parts of the suite, and then I gave them a kit with all of the parts they needed to make this particular card. And so that's what we're going to make tonight. Hey, Brooke. Hey, Mary. Nope, we made sure that there were no incriminating photos out on the interwebs anywhere. It seemed like the right thing to do. Hi, Darlene. Hey, Donna. So what's kind of fun about this card, and I'm going to raise it up to be sure you can see it, this has actual cotton, real live, 100%, grown in the USA. I don't actually know that, but removed from a bag, purchased in the USA, cotton, right here, and I'm going to show you how to make that happen. So let us commensurate, shall we? I'll set this aside. The other thing that it uses, the other product, which is, boy, if it isn't one of your favorite things, it's probably because you haven't purchased this dynamic teeth yet. But this is the tin tile teeth, and it is muy bueno. I love it a lot. And then, of course, the stamp set. So all these card cuts will be on my blog post tomorrow, so please don't worry about that. I have a piece of the gorgeous, gorgeous galvanized metallic paper. I have already embossed it in the tin tile dynamic teeth, and it is a regular 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 inch tall. I have a very vanilla piece with the same dimensions for the inside. I have 2 pieces of Cajun craze at 4 inches by 5 1/4, and you can see I have already cut a scalloped oval out of the middle. This is the largest scalloped oval in the layering ovals framelits. I also have a piece of Country Lane DSP, and the only reason you can tell that this wood grain DSP isn't from the wood textures is because it doesn't have wood textures on the back. Hey Jerry, I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe try refreshing your screen. That could help you a little bit. Hey Angie, glad you could join. All right, so what I've done is I took the milk can, we're going to say that's a milk can image, and the cotton bowl flower arrangement image, and I stamped it onto a piece of the Country Lane DSP. And this is, both of these are images done in soft suede. And then I cut it with the largest oval stitch-shaped framelits so that we could get right to the fun part. Now, this card here, I colored with crumb cake, but while we were at the retreat this weekend, the most wonderful Sue Prather, who is a goddess in the coloring department, showed us a technique, and so I'm going to play with that, okay? So it's going to look a little bit different, but I think it's going to be fun, and I think you're going to like it. So when we get to that, we're going to do it a little different. But let us get started with this. The first thing I'm going to do is take some soft suede ink and a wedge of sponge, and I'm just going to kind of burnish this galvanized tin a little bit. It's not tin. Of course it's not tin. It's galvanized paper that just happens to look like tin. Thank you, Tin Tile Teeth. And I'm just going to kind of burnish the edges. And that gives it kind of a brownish weathered look. It's not terribly deep, but it's enough to make it kind of nice. I like it. Looks like it's been on the top of a ceiling in a smokehouse for a while, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. So that's easy. We'll put that away for now. Hey, Karen, I'm glad you could join. She's an awesome colorer, or whatever those coloring people are called. That is exactly right. That is the technical term, colorer. Colorer. All right, so now let us take and adhere this. Let's get an open liquid glue, shall we? We're going to adhere this to one of the Cajun Craze mats. Now, so listen up. You saw that I did my card saving technique of cutting one of my mats out of one of the other mats. But I don't like to put a hole behind an inner liner, because if somebody were to try to write on this, and it could just be me, and it might not ever happen, but it seems to me like there would be a rough spot where that hole is in the back. So when I do this, I typically only do it with one of the mats, and then I use that as my front mat. Okay, does that make sense? The ink does not come off, Karen, once it dries. It's pretty solid on there once it dries. I'm assuming that's what you're asking. That's what I'm assuming you're asking. Okay. All right, so we'll give that a little rubblate. All right, so there's our card front. Okie dokie. Now let's go ahead and do some coloring, and I will make no claims, none, zero, zilch, nada. First off, I don't even know where I just put that piece. Hang on a minute. Good Lord, Mary. Where did it go? It went away. It's gone. Please. Maybe it blew away. Maybe it's good. Did you guys see where I put that? Did you see where it went? Isn't that the darndest thing? Just a sec. Okay, just a sec. I'm looking right at it. I am so goofy. You know, if that had been a rattlesnake, it would have bitten me twice before I realized it was happening. Gosh. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is Old Olive, and I don't want Old Olive. I want, hang on a second. I was going to use a different color. I'm thinking what I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to use, I think I'm going to color this in Cherry Cobbler. No, I'm going to color it in Cajun Craze, because I want to show you the technique that she showed us, okay? Here we go. All right, so we're just going to color this can to begin with. And the soft suede has been stamped for a minute, so it is good and dry. And I'm going to use the brush tip. Learned this weekend, should not use the bullet tip. And I'm just going to go, this is the light Cajun Craze, and I'm just going to color in the whole image. And with this large image, she showed us to go like this. So I'm doing the whole thing, just like that. Okay. Turn it and go. And I'm trying to not get too close to the very edge so that when it bleeds into, it stays inside the image. Okay, now I'm attempting to work quickly, but gosh, quickly is not really my thing. So then I'm going to take the dark one and I'm going to come back on the edges like that. Okay, and then I'm coming back with the light and I'm feathering across that like that. You guys know that even with the light, when you go back over with the light version, when you go back over it, it still darkens up. So you can see I didn't go all the way in. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to give this another little darken. I've still got the light blend. Okay, and you can see it's lighter in the center. Can you see that it's lighter in the center? I'm going to give a little extra there, and I'm going to give a little extra up here, because I would think that that would be darker if I was this can. Give a little extra across the bottom like so. There we go. Yes, it's a very nice, you know why to not use the the bullet tip is because you can't color fast enough. You want to do your blending while your ink is still wet, okay? So that's why you move quickly. And I think I just put the light on the dark and the dark on the light. Oh my gosh, yeah. So by using the feather tip, the brush tip, you can cover quicker, and then you can go in and get your next color up and start blending faster, okay? So now this is gonna dry. Now I'm gonna show you something. This was so cool that I literally stood in awe with my mouth open because I felt like kind of foolish for never having figured this out. Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna tap it, and we're gonna make speckled enamel. So I'm just tapping in the dark area. And then I'll tap a little bit in the light area. And you kind of have to wait a second because obviously you can't see it. But now, can you see it coming? Can you see it coming? Oh, here, let me fix it. Yeah, can you see the speckles coming out? So it's starting to look like it's actually speckled enamel. How cool is that? I was just gobsmacked when I saw this, and I thought, well, duh. That seems like such an easy thought, but I never thunked it. No, I did not. I never thunked it. See it coming? There we go. Now I'm going to try something here, okay? I don't know if it's going to work, so just bear with me. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You see how the blend has come over the edge a little bit? I'm going to try this thing that she said about pushing it back in. Now, she said it had to be dry. I think it's probably pretty close. Okay, we'll see if that works. And then I think you have to give it a second. She also said it helps to do that on top of some, like one of the pads of paper, like some grid paper. So we'll see how that works out. And I'll do that a little bit on this side too. Okay. Now I'm going to put a few more little dots because I like them and they're fun. Now these directions you aren't going to see on the blog post because the sample doesn't have them. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and I'm going to do a little coloring of my, I don't need Mango Melody. I'm going to do some coloring of my flowers, right, quick like a bunya, Okay, I'll do some pumpkin pie. Yeah, Sue is quite the artiste. So I've just got my light pumpkin pie here. And I'm gonna color some of the flowers, that one in particular. And I'll take the dark Cajun craze and just with the bullet tip, because it's a real small area, I'm gonna color these little berries. Like that. And I'll take a light old olive and we'll color the leaves. I love these blends. I'm very much planning on having there be the same one of every color we have in the blends. I really, really hope that is a thing that's going to happen. Really hope that's a thing that's going to happen. Okay, and then we'll go with the dark old olive. Okay, so apparently, have you ever heard the thing that says you never try a new thing when you're showing it for real? Okay. Me and the color lifter did not get along very well. Can you see that? It's really not doing its thing. So I'm going to leave it alone. And you will know that I didn't love how that turned out. So I'm going to just, maybe I'll try it again. I mean, what's the worst that'll happen? It'll not work. We'll see what happens here, if we can lighten it up. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and color that. We'll use the dark Daffodil Delight. Is that right? Is that what that is? Yeah. To color these little I think these must be like seed pods or something. What do you think? I think those are seed pods. Okay. We'll give those a little color. Okay, now for the fun stuff. You ready for fun stuff? Let's do some fun. All right. So I have a cotton ball, a regular old cotton ball right here, okay? And I can tell you straight up that this cotton ball right here will make approximately 1,700,000,000 cards, okay? You really don't need much. The first time I made this card, I showed it to my husband. I was like, oh, is this not so cute? Are you just not so impressed? And he said, so Mary, are those clouds? And I said, no, those are cotton balls. He says, they look like clouds, which means I had about 400 times too much cotton. So you really only need a little tiny bit. And I mean, like, take a little tiny bit and then cut it in half. And you can kind of roll them up like this. Kind of roll them up like that. And then all you're gonna do is find your tweezers, which have disappeared behind the scissors, the tweezers behind the scissors. And we're gonna put a little bit of liquid glue in the center of one of those cotton ball thingies, cotton bowls. And then we're gonna just adhere a cotton ball. And we'll do that a few more times, like that. All right. Yeah, Karen, the stamping blends are cool. I do wish I had the same artistic bent as Sue does, because I don't see stuff the same way she does. I did learn today that she was actually an art major, so that could be part of why she's so good at it, is that she actually is an artist with a functioning left brain. My left brain has to be persuaded to operate. Hers, I think, just wakes up working. But it was really cool, because she just sort of sits there and goes along, and the next thing you know, it looks like she's got a real live metallic picture right on her card. I'm like, my pictures don't look like that. They don't ever look like that. All right. I know, Angie, isn't this fun? This is great. This is such a fun technique. I saw this, and I think one of my teammates did this. I think it was Clara. It was Clara or Terry Lynn Bright did a little card with one of these on there, and I thought, I think that's a really good idea. Why wouldn't I try that? And so I am. And see, now that looks, when you push it up together like that, it looks like it's the right size, but that was too big, so I have to make that littler, much littler, much more littler. Okay, and we'll put some right there. It's what you want is to be able to see the little seed cups right here. Okay, because those are kind of what makes this look like cotton. Otherwise, it just, well, looks like clouds. Let's be honest with what it looks like. Yes, some glossy accents might help make it look glossy. I'm very disappointed in my running blend, though, I have to tell you. Right now, I don't like that at all. So we're going to fix that. We're going to hide that with our sentiment banner. So what you can learn from this is that there's multiple things to do with Stampin' Blends and multiple ways to hide your boo-boos. See? Hey, Sue! How come I can't make my Cajun craze go away there? Is it because it's not dry enough? Maybe that's it. Maybe it wasn't dry enough. I don't know. Maybe she'll figure out what I'm asking and help me. Maybe she'll help me. Or she'll say, you should have paid better attention at the demonstration, Mary. You're just out of luck. You're just out of luck. You didn't do it. That's right. You didn't, but I can't make that go away right there. See it? Do you see it? You see it? You see right there? How it's outside the lines? Really bad. And that's not artistic to me. That's just outside the lines, okay? So I tried pushing it back with the color lifter. I pushed it like you said, and it's on paper like you said. And so I don't know how to fix it now. It needs to dry completely before you try to push it. So maybe I haven't let it dry enough. So is it recoverable now if it dries and then I try it again a little bit later, or is it just toast because I've already messed it up? That's the question. That's a question for the group and for Sue to answer in public. Could be. I do believe we were using cardstock today. That could be Angie. Do you think that could be it, Sue? Or is it just because I got a little too quick? It seemed like it was plenty dry, but then maybe it wasn't. That was it. Hey, speaking of Sue, since she's here, Sue also is a demonstrator for a company called 31. Have y'all heard of that company? Well, over the weekend, I got to take a look at a catalog, and there's some things I want, so I'm going to do a catalog show. And if anybody wants to play along, I'm going to post a link here on my Facebook page. And if anybody wants to join in and buy some of their goodies, you can. They make totes, and they have craft totes and thermal totes and purses and wallets, and you can get them personalized, and they have really cool, fun covers and colors. So I will post the link, and if you guys want to get in on it and get you ordered something, they've got some pretty good specials going on in September that I am going to take advantage of. Yes, I am. You know what? Those look like cotton to me right there, so they're going to become cotton on this one. Because I'm kind of having fun putting these little cotton balls. The new craft totes are, in fact, awesome. That is a true thing. So, one cool thing, because Amy likes to buy that 31 stuff too, we've got several pieces, and it's all personalized with Ink and Crew and our names on it, so that is fun. But the new craft tote is neat. Sue had that at the retreat, and we got to see it, so that was a lot of fun. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to just continue on as if my blends were just fine. Even though I don't like it, we're going to continue it on because I'm going to cover it with the sentiment banner. So use a little liquid glue and put it on the Cajun Craze mat that we cut earlier. And then with some dimensionals. I did not get to use nearly enough dimensionals this weekend, so I've got a little bit of dimensional withdrawal. So I'm not going to get too carried away, Jean. Don't even count. It's only 4 on this one. But I'm going to pop this onto our card front. And then we're going to do a sentiment and a little bit of embellishing. And the card front will be done. All right. So there we go. Now, on a strip of the same paper, you know, it's really kind of ridiculous that I can lose something so fast. There it is. Come here. Okay. I'm going to stamp the sentiment from Country Home. Happy Harvest Blessings. Happy Harvest Blessings. Would you guys prefer I not sing? I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you would prefer I not sing. I would understand that sentiment completely. Because it's not good. It is not good. Okay. We'll do a quick sentiment in Cajun Craze. There we go. I could use more in the center, and no, I didn't put one in the center. I'm not going to use one on the sentiment, but get ready, I've still got a card front to pop on, so I can get it back. Don't you be worrying. All right, so I'm going to just stamp that on my strip of Country Lane DSP, like a so. I love it when a stamp just stamps, don't you? You know how that is when you're stamping and you hold your breath and you're saying, please, 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 stamp right. Stamp right, because I didn't use my Stamp-O-Magia or my Stamparatus. Okay, now I'm just going to snip a shallow little banner end. Like so. Okay, now I have got here one of the new galvanized clips, and so what I'm doing is, this is decorative, it's really not holding anything on. I'm just sliding that over the end of my banner, and I'm sliding it up so that you can still read the sentiment, right? And then I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to use a glue dot under the galvanized clip and a little bit of glue under the banner and adhere that to the... Thank you, Eunice. I'm going to make my heart lighter, but I'm going to protect your ears. Now look, watch. It's as if there was never a problem, almost. There. How about that? You won't even know. Nobody will even see that right there. In fact, I'm going to just wiggle it up a little bit to make certain nobody sees. There we go. Okay. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Wah ha. All right. Now, here's a question before I go any further. This is a double loop bow. Anybody want to see me make this, or do you know how to do it enough that I can just adhere this one that I made at the retreat? Go ahead. I'll give you a moment. Go ahead. I'll give you a moment to answer. Do you need to see how to do a double loop bow, or would you prefer me to stop wasting your time today? Go ahead, tell me. Meanwhile, I'll just fiddle with this one a little bit. Yes, Barbara, that's a yes, you'd like to see how to make them? Make it. Okay, I can do that. I can do it, I have the technology, but I don't have the linen thread. Hang on, here it is. Okay, so these are really quite simple to make, especially if you have a pair of the ever wondrous reverse twizzers. And why do they call these reversed? You know, because a reverse twizzer is closed when you're not pressing it, and it opens when you press it, which means when you release it and it closes, you can put it down and it still holds something for you. So I sometimes refer to this as my third hand, because of course I don't actually have a third hand. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take my linen thread, and to be quite honest with you, straight up, the linen thread makes the best double bows, okay? Double loop bows, it really does. You can make it with some of the other baker's twines, but many of them are too soft to do the job, or too stout. So hold the end between your thumb and your forefinger and hold your other fingers together, and then you're going to wrap 4 times. 1, 2, 3. You count every time you get back and hold the thread. 4. And then around the first 2 fingers, you do another 4 wraps. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you can just snip that off, okay? All right, and then you pry it off of your fingers. Hey, Kathy, nice of you to join. Aw, Sue, that's so sweet. Hi, Lynn. Okay, so now you can see you've got 4 little loops and 4 big loops. Push the loops together, and as they're coming together, twist into a figure 8. You see the figure 8 there? Then take your third hand, i.e. your reverse twizzers, and get a hold of the center. So you can still see the kind of figure 8. That one's trying to escape, but I'm not going to let it, okay? Set it down. The tweezers hold it in place because that's what they do. That's why they're so awesome. Cut another little piece of the linen thread, and we're going to tie a double overhand knot. Okay, the only trick right here is to not knot the knot around the tweezers. Okay, you need to be left or right of the tweezers. There we go. And so give that a pull, and when you let it go, that knotted piece holds everything together. And then you spend a little time fiddling, which is craft person speak for make it look like something and not like a hot mess, okay? And when I demonstrated this today, I used the analogy of Farrah Fawcett's hair. In fact, I use the analogy of Farrah Fawcett's hair every time I make one of these on a video. Farrah Fawcett always looked like she leapt out of bed, leapt out of bed, and her hair was perfectly tousled, absolutely perfectly sexily tousled and awesome. And you know, in fact, that she sat in hair and makeup for at least an hour, making that look like it hadn't taken any time at all. And so that is kind of the analogy for a double loop bow. You have to spend a little time making it look like you didn't spend any time, which makes no sense at all until you think about it and think about Farrah Fawcett's hair. And then it makes perfect sense. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to take a glue dot, and give it a little bit of a squish. Hi, Jean. Oh, thank you, Karen. I hope she would be. I miss Billy. She was a creative person. I'm sure she's still creative. She's just not doing it for our benefit. And I'm going to use that glue dot to adhere that double loop bow to the edge of my galvanized clip. Okay? And then I'm going to take a piece of Mossy Meadow Festive Farmhouse cotton twine. See, this one, let me show you why this wouldn't work. I'm just going to show you a demonstration of why this twine is not really great for a double loop bow. First off, it's very thick, and so you might not even want to do 4 loops. Remember, you can modify, I should have told you that. You can modify the size of your double loop bow by making your fingers wider when you're wrapping, so you'd have a big bow. Or you could just do 3 fingers and 1 and 2 fingers like that. So you can play with it. Once you get it down and know how to do it, you can play with it and do however you like. Or you could do 2 loops and 2 loops so that you would have a thinner, not quite so full and fluffy bow, right? But if you try to do this with this twine, first off, it's way too many loops. Okay, so let's try it with fewer loops. 1, 2, 1, 2. I still don't think we're going to like how it looks, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. There was one time about 20 years ago that I was wrong. I thought I was wrong that day, but I wasn't, so I was wrong. So see, it would be okay, but to me, it's still just not as nice as that linen thread. So it's very far out of my cross-check for using for those kinds of bows. I like linen thread. So for this, we're just going to make a regular old straight up bunny goes around the woods, or whatever bunnies do when you try to teach kids to make bows. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Thank you, Lenny. Thank you, Fran. Appreciate that. And you are more than welcome, Barbara. I love that bow. I told him today if I could figure out a way to put one of those bows on every single card I ever made, I would probably do it because I really like it. You know what? Are you ready? I like that bow almost as much as I like Stampin' Dimensionals, and I think we all know how I feel about Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to use a little dab of liquid glue right here, and I'm going to adherate this on here. I'm going to give it a little stick, and then I'm going to leave it be, except I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to set it aside for that to dry while I make the inner side, okay? All right, so that is setting aside and drying all by itself. It needs no assistance. Okay, now, to make the inside, let me remind you, I'll show you the sample. Hang on. This is what the inside looks like. So to start with, I'm going to take the other floral image in the stamp set. I'm going to ink it with crumb cake and stamp it off once and stamp it in the center. And then I'm going to do some really fast, I mean like really fast, because it's already 8:35 and I don't want to keep y'all here like until Tuesday. I'm going to do some really fast watercoloring. Yep, linen thread is the way to go, isn't it, Angie? Where in the heck did I not take it off of the thing? What did I do? Oh, sure. Gosh, you know what's so funny is I'm like flailing around on this video, and I did a video on how to do Facebook Live videos at the retreat. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to, as I said, ink this in crumb cake and stamp it off once. And then stamp it in the center of my very vanilla panel, like so. And that didn't get great, but that'll be okay because that's going to be behind the sentiment. So you always have to, if you have an idea in your head of what your card is supposed to look like, then if you have errors, you know now Do I need to restamp that, or will that be okay? And in my estimation, that's going to be just fine. So I'm going to take a couple of watercolor pencils from that second one. Where's my Cajun Craze? There he is. Okay, and I'm just going to do a little bit of coloring. And we're going to color, and I'm doing very light. And why am I doing very light? Because it's going behind a sentiment. And so I want this to almost be like a watermark, which is why I stamped it off once and why I'm using watercolor pencils instead of blends. Blends would be way, 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 way too dark, and we would not like that at all. And then I'm going to use crushed curry for these little doohas right here, whatever they are. And we'll just give this a little color like that. And I am doing this before I stamp the sentiment so that I can still see the design good. And I'm not doing a whole bunch of coloring and carrying on. It just isn't, we're getting the impression of the flowers behind the image, okay? We're really not trying to color. You see, that little guy is right there. I know he is. Come out. Come out, you little booger. Y'all, did I say, I think I showed you on my blog post, I saw an 8-point buck, and it was cool. I liked it. It was cool. And he was like 20 feet from me, just staring at me. Like, you know, I am really, really, really not worried about you, lady. And I said, okay, but I need you to not come towards me, because you're really quite large. He was big. And then I saw him the next day. I went for a walk, and he was right on the side of the road. And he wouldn't leave. He just kept staring at me, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt just a little threatened by him. And so I walked into the dry leaves and made noise, and he realized he wasn't quite the big man that he thought he was. He had to depart the fix. That's pilot speak for turn around and leave fast. All right, so I'm just coloring in some leaves here with the Old Olive watercolor, which is in the first set. And I'm gonna color leaves that I know are here even though my image didn't get good. And then this is like a artichoke, and I'm gonna color him. Okay, I'll get some right there like that. All right, like I said, this is not the spot for an artist piece of anything, okay? We're not trying to make that look like a Renoir or anything like that. We're just getting the idea that there's some flowers behind there. And then we're going to stamp our second sentiment right over the top. It wasn't so much that he was creepy. So that cottage is in the center of a 5,500 acre nature conservancy. So they are protected. And when deer are protected, they aren't afraid. The only reason deer are afraid of us is because we teach them to be afraid of us. Now, I try to teach my deer here to be afraid because I want them to be afraid of hunters. Because, yes, I routinely hope that no one gets a deer because that's the kind of person I am. Okay. But he just wasn't afraid of me. And also, I think the people feed them. I know that James did when he was cutting lettuce and fruit and whatnot. He was throwing those out off the back porch and feeding them. And they were all under there like, yeah, me, me, me. All right, so we've got some Cajun Craze sentiment, and we're just going to go right over the top and give it a good press. He was quite handsome, quite handsome. I couldn't believe it. I was talking to Wayne on the phone, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's a big buck, and I wasn't really sure how you count. I didn't know that, you know, it's like if there's 4 points on one antler and 4 on the other, that's an 8-point. In Mary's world, that would be a 4-point, but okay. So apparently he was an 8-point buck, which is kind of big, really, indicating the length of time he's been there. And he had several women, so apparently he's quite the man. So, you know, so there is our center, and let's go ahead and put it on its mat, and then we'll put it into our card base. All right, quick. Hey, Daryl, I'm glad you could join. Yes, do watch tomorrow and see how to make these bows, because they are one of my favorite things ever. And I think you'll enjoy it too. So I'm putting this on my second Cajun Craze mat. All right. And then I have a Mossy Meadow, thank God for Mossy Meadow, card base. Yeah, see, Donna, I don't know how it is. But when I was talking to my husband, who has, in the past, he hunted, not in the recent past, but in the way back past, he said it was how many on each one total, like all of them. So he was an 8-point, and he was cool. I mean, we see them here, but the bucks are aware of the fact that they are at risk. They're not at risk here, but, you know, once you start hunting them, they're pretty, rightfully so, they're pretty afraid of humans. All right, so let me get my new card front back. And I think I'm happy with that length. I like that. Let's put some dimensionals on here. How many should we use, Jean? Jean will tell me in just a second how many I should use. I'm gonna start with my normal. And if Jean thinks I need more, then that's what I will do. James was awesome. He really, oh my Lord. 10? Okay, 10. 10 it is. Yeah, you know, there's just something about eating for an entire weekend, not touching one pan, not touching one dish, not getting my hands wet to rinse dishes one time, just sitting down and eating lovely food with lovely people in a lovely spot. It was amazing. I am quite ready to go back right now. Okay, so there's 9, and because Jean wanted 10, there's 10. Okay. Jean, it was heaven indeed, and I am going to be hoping that when we do the second annual Ink and Crew retreat, that more folks will be able to come. We're gonna set a date here early, right, Amy? And we're gonna look at next year and pick a date and get everybody starting to put it on their calendar for next year so that you guys can come and see Skyview Mountain Cottage and sit around and play. I also drank way too much coffee because he had a Keurig and it was right there. He has this little room right off the living room that's totally set up as a coffee bar. So you go in and he's got a Keurig, and you pull out a drawer and there's all different kinds of coffee, and then he's got a little refrigerator with the creamers and all these fun cups. It was just, so can you tell I'm having withdrawals from our weekend? I really had such a good time. I wasn't ready to leave. It's like summer camp. I wasn't ready to leave. Okay, and there is our card. Let's do a quick like a bunny. What is this called? Oh yes, an envelope. And I'm just going to do a full strength crumb cake. Yes, we do need to get it penciled in soon. Full strength crumb cake image. And having learned my lesson, because this one I want to be correct, right? I'm going to give it a good push. In fact, I'm going to do something I try not to ever do. I'm picking it up. We're going to see if I can do this. I can't, I betcha. Let's see if I did that okay. There we go. Put it under a mat, or put a mat under it. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna take, well, sure, I'll take the time. Okay, let's do some Cajun Craze with our watercolor pencil. And I'll just do it a little darker where Stampin' Up! So handily gave me the shading. Now I could also pull out a blender pen and help make this all blendied, but I'm not going to. But I'm just gonna color these in. I think these must be cattails, yes? I'm thinking they're cattails. A nice autumn bouquet here. And then we'll do some Cajun Craze berries. Thank you, Patricia. I just think this is the prettiest stamp set, don't you? I mean, goodness. It's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I can't even stand it. And then we'll get our old olive out and color in this artichoke. Now, are you people of a bent where you would think to use an artichoke in a floral display. I so wish I was, and I'm so not. But I wish I was. And then I'm going to just color in a few of these a little bit darker just to give it a little definition. A little bit of definition. Okay. And let's see, let's do some leaves here. Okay. I grow around here. Artichoke capital of the world. Oh, that's right, you're out there. Are you near, shoot. Gilroy is the garlic capital. What's the artichoke capital, Mary? Because I've been there, and I remember we had deep fried artichoke hearts, which is, by the way, one of the best things ever to grace the planet. But I cannot for the life of me think of the name of the town. But Mary, I bet you know, huh? Karen, you can't eat artichokes? Wow, that would be a bummer. That would be a bummer. I'm very sorry about that. You would eat it. I know. I just don't. Why would you spend like $2.99? Artichokes are like $2.99 a piece here. So I barely buy them to eat. Also, I like them dipped generously in mayonnaise. And to tell you that that's not on the diet. Oh, so James, our host this weekend, he tells us that his goal is 3 pounds in 3 days. Meaning his goal is to feed us so well we all put on 3 pounds in 3 days. And I said, well, I'm afraid I might have overachieved. I hope not. I'll be getting on the scale tomorrow to see how bad it is. But it was such good food. He says, I'm not a gourmet cook. And then he starts bringing out all this gourmet food. It's like, dude, you're gourmeting yourself into having to do this every time. You're going to have to one-up every time. Now I'm just going to go back over a few of these and make some darker leaves. Not all of them. Just getting a little color. And we had some debate at the meeting about whether those were leaves or ribbons. So as you can see, I have now officially colored them as leaves. So they're leaves on this. Okay, there's that. And now I'm going to put a little bit more of the Festive Farmhouse DSP. You can do the hearts. Oh. Ooh, you broke your jaw, and so you can't pull the leaves off. Yeah, well, you know, the heart really is. We all eat the leaves just to get to the heart, so that's pretty good. My dad used to say, if you'll give me what's left, I'll get all the that thistle-y stuff out and, you know, fix it up for you. But what he meant was he was going to do that, and then he was going to pop that heart in his mouth and eat it. So we'd have eaten all of the leaves, eagerly anticipating the heart, and he'd eat it. How mean was that? That was mean, huh? All right, so here we go. And there we have it. All right, so that is it, folks. Here's the card. Do try this where you put some actual cotton on the little cotton bowls before it's not harvest season anymore, and this wouldn't be so fun. Don't forget to sponge your tin tile a little bit and make it look all vintageized. And there's the inside with its matching envelope. All right. So I hope you will give this a shot. I hope you'll come back next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. And watch for the link for the 31 little catalog show and get you something fun. All right, people, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending time with me. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.